There are a lot of people moving to Tennessee looking for homestead properties. And they want to have space for some chickens, maybe a few goats, and some room for their kids to run around. And a lot of folks start looking at land and they really don't know what they're looking at. And they really can't tell the potential of an older house on 5 or 6 acres. Because usually what happens by the time you find a 1950s house that's been on the market for several days, it was an estate and maybe the yard's grown up, the landscaping needs to be trimmed back, and maybe the house is probably, it's very dated. Probably got some green tile in the bathroom and some wood paneling on the walls. Nobody's cleaned up the yard in a while. The leaves aren't raked. And it looks something like this, and they're like, nope, this is just way too much work. But what I see when I look at this house is it's got a good metal roof. It's a brick house. It's got dogwood trees, a sugar maple in the front yard. There's bulbs that are pretty settled in the landscaping. And yeah, absolutely, it all needs to be trimmed back and cleaned up, but it takes a long time, generations sometimes, to get trees that big in your yard. And then you walk around to the back of the house and you're like, wow, it's got a nice big shed roof built off of it with a patio and a basketball court, and it's paved. There's kind of a neat old fountain. And this house has even got an outhouse. I was told that outhouse is going to go with the cellar because it was the last thing that the current owner and his father built together. A fireplace. It's got a great big wide open hall. It's got a basement. Great big living room, and without too much terrible structural damage, it wouldn't be too hard to take the wall out between the living room and what would be the kitchen, and you could have a nice big open concept room. It's got hardwood floors all the way through here. Yep, and there is some lime green tile. That was the same color tile that my grandmother had in her bathroom. The bedrooms are pretty big. They've got nice big windows with lots of natural light. I think somebody even left their moonshine jug. And this house has a great big shop out the back and an old-timey clothesline. What I was told about the shop was that the gentleman that lived here in the past, he had a truck liner business. So this was where he ran his business out of. There's some apple trees, an old lilac bush, lots of space in the back. This particular piece of property's also got an older single wide trailer up there, and it's on 9 acres. And yes, there's some stuff in here that needs to be cleaned up, but this is a steel frame building. And this steel frame building is on a concrete slab. I mean, this is a huge workshop in here. And it's got nice beams across the top. So you really could do a couple things in this shop. You could have one heck of a party barn. You might even be able to turn it into a house. Or what would be really cool is if you turned it into a farm store and you took this land in the back and you put it into some kind of production. You could have a really cool little business right here. And if somebody wants to lend me like $450,000, I'll do it. Because yes, it needs a lot of work. But if you can see past the weeds and the leaves, there's a lot of potential in this house. And my name's Jennifer Davis, and I'm a realtor here in Middle Tennessee. If you're interested in this house or any other property in Middle Tennessee, I'd appreciate it if you gave me a phone call.